pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The rules of procedure are adopted annually to ensure a productive meeting. The select board meetings are in the public, not of the public, meaning that the members of the public in attendance are entitled to the opportunity to comment. Excuse us, we're starting the meeting, please. But the purpose of the meeting is for the board to be able to effectively and efficiently conduct the necessary business to govern the town. All questions and comments are to be directed to the chair, and the rules of procedure indicate that there will be 2 minutes allotted for comment from any single person on any single topic. The rules of procedure are posted in the town hall and available for everyone to review.
Right. So we've got the whole select board present tonight. Bob Jones, Mike Beecher, Jessica Van Ort, Tom Collard, and Rich Hewlett, and I am Kristen. And we've got everybody here who is in attendance, both online and in person. For the agenda tonight, so an email I forwarded along to everybody, it was about nuisance lighting earlier, maybe the end of last week perhaps, or earlier, so at some point over the last
Probably.
Yeah, so that could go new business. And then I had down to address the town road and bridge standards under highway, but I thought since our highway foreman is starting on Monday, it might be good to wait on the rest of the spring mailer stuff until he's on board. I believe he's planning to attend meetings, so I thought that might be nice to just get him in the loop on that. And then the board can make sure that everybody's on the same page. So we could delete that. I know there's been some other items that have come through. Is there anything else that anybody would like to add?
I have an update on a zoning issue.
Okay, so that was under, so that, Nancy talked about, I think if we're thinking the same thing, the site visit that you did. Yeah, so Nancy mentioned that. I know that she had that at some point in executive session, so I think as long as we just keep specifics, like details about, I don't know exactly what we talked about.
It's been resolved, so
Great.
I was informed of that. So
All right. Okay, so if nothing else, the minutes that need approval are from April 15th from our last meeting.
I'll move to approve those minutes.
Thank you.
And I'll second them.
Thank you.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
So we have no pre-requested tonight. And announcements.
I don't believe there was anything that fell in under announcements.
The only thing that I can think of is that there are quite a bit of events and things that are happening in town lately, a lot happening at the town hall, so everybody should check out the website. I would imagine is where a lot of that is.
There's a couple flyers on the wall there. There's this coming weekend, I know there's a spring fling event, and there's also the Battle of Bennington, the Historical Society,
Yes, the Historical
Ticonderoga
Society.
event. Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's a couple things on Saturday.
And there's coming up, there's a
Both.
fundraiser for the food pantry as well that's happening here. Is that
Saturday
what you're speaking
night,
of,
yeah.
the spring fling?
Mhm,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, okay. Other than that, there is. Oh, you don't have agendas on your places, do you?
No, so you have to.
So I was looking at
You're
my
going to have to
phone.
guide us.
So sorry. All right. Well, allow me to be your guide. So the zoning the zoning administrator's report is up first. Nancy is obviously not here. She said she couldn't attend this evening, but she did email out a report to the board and just let us know she provided the latest zoning log, which is also posted here in the town hall on that bulletin board by the door, and then acknowledge that there's this compliance deadline with that ongoing zoning issue, which Rich helped to get resolved. So that's all set. And that was all from the zoning office. And next up is the planning commission, unless there's anything else for zoning.
No, I don't believe so. The planning commission met last night. They elected a new chair, co-chair. Is the information on vice chair?
Ed and Annie.
Yep.
And And we don't have yet an alternate, but there might be somebody interested. We'll see really to go with Linda.
Okay.
And maybe an alternate for the rail trail.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay.
We also voted to approve the balance of the mini grant to go over to pay for the grant administrative fees Rutland Regional's charging.
Great.
That Rutland Regional's charging. And so the question would be if Julie's wants to close that mini grant out and finish it and have it sitting in an account where this money would be waiting to match up with.
So when the minutes come out from the meeting, then they'll be able to, then you can give that to her.
Our regular treasurer wasn't, our clerk wasn't there, Rick wasn't there.
But, okay, so
we'll see what happens.
you guys will figure that out, work through it. Ed can send her a message or something like that and explain. So, excellent. Road foreman's report.
Yes, so Jim, well, as I just mentioned, so James Greeno is the name of our new highway foreman. So he has accepted the position and is beginning to work with the town on Monday, May 5th. So he met with Julie and Deb and myself last week. He came in and we got all the rest of his paperwork filled out and talked a little bit about sort of getting started, and Julie and I sat and worked with him and just sort of helped to get him just, I was gonna say amped up, but ready to work, maybe amped up to work. So he will, getting started just for the first couple of weeks, kind of get his bearings. We'll make a plan to connect with him on his first day and get his bearings, and just kind of, he's been driving around quite a bit. He lives just right over the line in Danby, so he's excited to continue to get to learn the roads. And after he just gets his feet under him a bit, he'll meet with Julie and talk a little bit about just sort of how everything rolls in terms of what needs to be done and coordinated with in her office. And the first item that Julie mentioned to him was that we do have grant funds. I believe it's through the Better Roads grant that need to be used this summer. So she told him a little bit about that. He's aware of that program, so he's going to investigate that and start to do some thinking about where we might be able to spend that money. So that's sort of his first plan of attack. And then from there, he'll also be getting set up with the state and the Rutland Regional Planning Commission and some of the other key players that he'll be working with. So that's really good. And then in the meantime, Jim did get in touch with me and let me know that over the last couple of weeks, they have replaced and reinstalled some speed signs and road signs, and they've continued on with grading. So
I noticed those signs in the side of West Pawlet. Thank you.
yeah, and I did let him know kind of on behalf of everybody that we all really, really appreciate all that they've done, and their hard work is noticed and appreciated. So, so that's that with the highway department. And then, do you have anything else from the highway? Hello.
You gotta start from being late.
That's all right.
So that's it for the
That's it for the
town
highway.
commissioners.
Yep. The assessors are up next, and Karen Folger did email. She's requesting, Mike, that you sign the grand list extension letter request. So that's here. I'm gonna take a look at
Did
that.
she have a reason?
She did not.
No, they just every year need an extension. I mean, every year I've been on the board.
Right.
Yes. The annual extension request.
Officers report. Building permit inspections have been completed for the 2025 grand list. We're working to complete the inspection data entry in both ProVal and Catalyst, and we're transitioned from AMA software program to the other. Grand list lodging, we are requesting a 30-day extension for the lodging of the grand list per Title 32, Section 4342. We have included a hard copy of the GL extension request letter to a board signature. We have planned to lodge a grant list on June 30th and hold grievance on July 14th. This will allow treasurer enough time to set the tax rate and get bills mailed out by August 10th. Reappraisal is scheduled to begin on July of 2025. Tyler will be communicating with us on the first steps as soon as we inform them that our 25 work is complete, so we can commence the changes for 26. Assessor hours, Karen is in Pawlet on Mondays from 8 a.m. till 2, and on Tuesdays to do data entry of the new Catalyst CAMA software program. Lisa will be working in the office one Monday each month and necessary from home. So, we need a motion to approve an extension.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
May I see that? Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't realize there was a report in there. Thank you.
Town clerk, do we have a memo?
Deb is here this evening.
Good evening, Deb.
You can't hear.
Oh, we can't hear you, Deb. Is it us? Probably. Oh dear. Well, let's see. Can you hear us tonight? Oh, this is so beautiful.
She's shaking her head, yes.
Oh, try now. That would have been too simple.
Is the owl a real tech?
Wait.
Yeah, there we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Beautiful.
It was on the wrong speaker.
Excellent.
Thank you.
I should be a tech person.
You fixed
Awesome.
it,
My
Kristen.
life. All right.
Please,
We're ready, Deb.
we're ready for you, Deb. Thank you.
Okay, you can hear me now?
Yes, very well.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. After all that, I don't have very much for the board tonight. Sue and I did attend a Zoom meeting today with the Secretary of State and the Elections Division. We're transitioning to a new elections management portal. So it's very similar to what we're using now, but it is a little more updated, upgraded, very user-friendly, but they're doing these trainings throughout the whole state just to get people familiar with what's coming, probably sometime mid-May. In reference to Mr. Greeno, this weekend is Green Up weekend. I took bags over to the school, so they're all set with their bags, and they've been instructed to bring their Green Up bags to the town garage or to safe intersections. So that'll be one thing that Kristen, if you have a way to reach out to Mr. Greeno, I don't have his contact information, just to let him know that that's kind of coming next week. He'll be seeing all these green bags, and the town has in the past always taken them and taken care of them.
Okay, I'll get them.
Other than that, I did have somebody call or email me today and want to know if the town has a stump dump. And I said I'd never heard of it, and I was pretty sure we didn't, but that I would check. He's taken stumps off of his property and wondered if the town had a way to get rid of it, and I was pretty sure we did not, but I'm asking for confirmation on that.
We do not.
But I can't hear you.
We
We do not.
Okay. That's it for me, unless anybody has any questions.
I do have a question.
Go ahead, Tom.
Elevator issue, did that get resolved?
Yes, it did. It's running again. I was a little concerned when he went in there, and the first thing I heard was, this is interesting. And, I've never seen this before. So, anyway, he got it recalibrated, it was running properly. He says, well, if it's this, then we might have some concerns, but it's running well now, and we should be good to go. So, yeah, he was here, and it's all set.
Good.
Thank you for taking care of that.
I have a
Yep.
question. Well, when I contact James, where is he to go with the bags?
I think we've taken them over to Earth, Waste, and Metals over
Okay.
in Granville.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if they do it for free, or there will be a small fee to the town. Keith always used to just kind of throw everything in the back of the pickup truck and take everything over that way.
Okay.
That's, I believe, what we've done in the past.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yep. Thank
Working
you.
for the state, he may already be familiar with the project anyway, so.
And it might be something that within our own state that we can take care of, so.
Wonderful.
Perfect. Thank you, Deb. Does anybody else have any questions for Deb tonight?
That's it.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a good evening.
Yep, thank you. You too.
Julie.
So there are 3 warrants this week. Payroll is $8,834.75. Accounts payable is $20,265.94, and $24, which is an employment related and has already been paid. It was a motor vehicle records request form. General fund monies are $12,240.13. Highway fund $11,864.09. Wastewater $5,020.47. We have had an approximately $91,000 investment mature. I'm recommending we reinvest in a 3-month T-bill since the majority of that was reappraisal and we won't need it before another pool matures in July. Rates are still favorable. See my printout. I am unable to attend this evening. Feel free to reach out if you need something. Have a great meeting. Respectfully submitted, Julie Mack. And there are 4 motions that are required. So 1 payroll warrant, 2 accounts payable warrants, and ultimately an approval to reinvest as recommended by the treasurer, if that's the direction we'd like to go.
Well, I'll make the motion for the warrants. I move we approve payroll warrant 25065, accounts payable warrant 25063, and accounts payable warrant 25066.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Anybody want to look at this regarding the printout for the rates?
Sure. Yeah, that's about what it was last time. Still in the 4% range. Well, I mean, I think we should go with what Julie recommends as far as that reinvestment.
I would agree with that.
So I think that was me
That was a
making a motion and you seconding it? Okay.
Sounds like
Sounds like it to me.
Any more discussion?
To approve reinvestment as recommended by treasurer.
All in
Yes.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Do we also need to do these under Julie's report?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Julie sent us these internal financial controls checklist for municipalities that she has to fill out every year, and we just have to sign that we received it on the select board. And since I'm the liaison to the treasurer, I looked over this and it all looks, it all makes sense to me. It has to do with various financial policies, like whether we have different people who approve the checks and write them and things like that. Does this need a motion?
Sure. That'd be better. Did you
Yep.
see that?
I
Everybody
did.
look at
I read it.
So
Yep, I do.
Everybody's good with that?
I do make a motion to accept that and sign it
Okay.
for her.
Okay, Jessica seconded.
Yeah, I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
internal financial control checklist. Is what it's called?
Yeah, internal financial controls checklist for municipalities.
Thank you.
Sign one,
Okay. Yeah, I think you might have signed
He
that.
signed one of the copies.
Oh, no,
That one,
Bobby
that
saw
one's there
that.
for us to look at.
Oh yeah, this is for just for us to look at. I don't know if Bob needs to see it. All right.
I think that's
Time to
pretty interesting.
sign.
Did we get anything from Bob Morlino?
Not at this meeting, no.
Okay.
Can I borrow
That's the end of
someone's
the month.
pen?
Health
Oh,
officer.
absolutely.
Thanks.
Yep, so Jennifer sent along an email just shortly before we arrived here this evening and just provided an electronic update regarding some ongoing issues at a property in West Pawlet. So at this point in time, I think Jennifer mentioned that she had reached out to a contact up, I believe, in maybe Montpelier and is going to try to get some suggestions, but also is seeking any feedback or thoughts or advice from the board. So check. If you haven't read that message already, feel
Right.
free to. And if you'd like to weigh in and give her any sort of insights, that would be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Facilities report. Town hall door repair.
Do you have wastewater? We breezed right over wastewater. Or is that after?
Wastewater, what do we have for storage? Nothing from Bill.
I
For the
don't
last,
think we
it was
have
for the
any.
last meeting, right?
Yeah, we have.
She's got a couple projects she needs some work done on. Gonna
But I
get
think
quote
that-
on
yeah.
getting the generator repaired.
Yeah, but I think that
There's
was
some
all
work
for
on
the
spruce
last
gum.
Yeah.
And other than that, everything seems to be going all right. So, town hall door repair.
We met with a
Yeah, go for it.
contact this afternoon just before our first meeting. They're gonna do some design layout and measurements, and we need to get some answers from the historical department to see what their thoughts are on the hardware to put it back together. But he seemed quite interested in getting us a quote and talking about what he thinks he can do or asked a lot of good questions, especially the hardware one, the glass, the paint, the wood. So I think he's quite knowledgeable, or he's done a lot of research in it, one or the other. It felt good to have the questions coming from him of what we need to make sure we're covered at. We're gonna get on a group email exchange, Jessica,
Yep.
myself, and him.
He gave us his card. Yeah, we do have to get him, the things that he needs is the date when the town hall was constructed, so that he can make sure that the fittings of the door would be appropriate to the original construction. Yeah. And then Meg Campbell at the Preservation Trust, what she had asked from us was that, well, one, the door has to match in all respects, but then she wanted to see the drawings of what he would do for the door to approve it before we would issue him a contract. So we informed him of that, and he's ready to, if we decide to go with him, to go ahead and do those drawings.
Okay. That sounds like good, positive.
We did have one more lead to check with on your end? No?
I didn't.
You didn't have one.
No, I didn't
Okay.
have one.
And the other one didn't pan out, so right now we just have the one
Just
currently,
the one
so.
option.
But
Okay.
we are, it's moving forward, but it is gonna take a little time
Right.
because of the
Okay.
historical restoration part.
Yeah. Excellent. Anything else on everything at the library good, Corey?
Yeah, everything's good. We have a fundraising committee meeting on Thursday, which is a new committee that we started up at our organizational meeting. And our regular meeting's on Tuesday, so.
Okay. Good. In the facility, nothing that you need to address as far as the facility itself, the building?
No, not
Okay.
at this time. And just the bookstores have started and they're sorting books and looking for volunteers.
Okay.
Always.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thanks.
I guess I do have perhaps a little bit of this might fit under facilities. It has to do with the MERP grant and the library. So Jeremy, from the Rutland Regional Planning Commission, who is administering the Municipal Energy Resilience Program grant for us, messaged me and said, we need to know what kind of ADA compliance things you might want from the library. And I was like, whoa, I didn't know we had to know this already. So I just wrote back to him, Corey, and I told him about the ramp that we have and the issues with it, which is that the ice and snow fall on it, and also that there's no like button to push to open the door.
Right.
And so that ramp isn't really usable. So, and I said, I don't know exactly what we need to do to the ramp. And he said, that's good enough for now. So, because they have to put that into their RFP.
Okay.
So I don't know if there were any other ADA compliance things that the library had identified yet.
Not yet.
No.
No, so.
Yeah, I mean, I know that an elevator isn't feasible with the amount of money we're looking at,
Okay.
and that the ramp exists and would be nice if it was usable.
Right,
So that's the best I was able to give him. So I hope that works with what the library was thinking.
okay.
Frank?
Yeah, the ramp also, which I'll show in the video, show it glows all the time from the heat that's come from the furnace and heats up. And it might be something where we could put a roof there and not have to heat the ramp, where the stuff coming off the roof would impede the use of the ramp. And then you're talking about your button door system.
Yeah, I think I told him generically ramp improvements, and that was good enough for him for now. We'll determine in the future what
Right.
ramp improvements we would need.
Do you guys have the microphone somewhere? Oh, we've got it in your pouch. Yeah, remember to. No, if you're speaking, you need to speak into it. Yeah, thank you.
know
Frank.
the rules, Frank.
You're usually microphone man.
All right, so we're all good with the facilities. Is there anything from the school board? Not this.
Nope,
that
not
was
this
last
time.
week. We're rolling right along. Older unfinished business. So Tom sent out that paperwork at the last meeting regarding the grant. Would either of you two gentlemen like to talk about that a little bit? Neil?
So obviously my full-time job, I'm the police chief in Farragut. Tom asked me to pinch hit. I thought he was online here for a minute.
He's working on it. He's
But,
trying to join.
so-
Joining.
What happened
different
was
avenues.
Kevin Geno's lieutenant with the state police with the sheriff's department, runs the southern half of the county. He saw that this agency was out, we were busy stopping cars and just being more proactive. So he reached out and said, wanted to know if we were interested in the highway safety grant. We have that grant in Fairhaven. We've had it for my whole career, so 20 plus years. And how the grant works is you can't supplement with it. So we would have the regular budget that you guys authorize
Right.
for patrols and for complaints and whatever, the normal law enforcement stuff. The highway safety grant would allow somebody to go out and do dedicated just traffic work. And how that works is if the guy worked 4 hours, there's a highway safety sheet, there's a worksheet you fill out, and then at the end of the month, we bring in a supervisor sheet, gets sent to the sheriff's department, and the sheriff's department reimburses the town for every hour that everybody works. That also includes, Julie would have to figure out your workman's comp, your FICA, your medical. So what's the real cost of your employee work? So sometimes it's $20 an hour, but after you figure it out, it's 27.
Yeah.
So they would reimburse all of that, and they would reimburse the town at a rate of 70 cents per mile. So they basically pay for everything. It's a highway safety grant, but in that there's DUI, there's distracted driving, there's occupant protection, and there's an education grant, which would allow us to go over to maybe the school and spend some time on car seat safety, or sponsor a car seat safety checkpoint, that kind of stuff too. They're all different components within the grant. It runs on the federal cycle, so it starts in October 1st and goes through September 30th every year. It's a pretty good program, and what it allows you to take your regular money and to get into do other stuff, and the traffic was focused on just doing traffic. If you're working and the officer has a call to a domestic, you have to go off the grant. So if you're out on a highway safety detail, so you basically stop your time, deal with the call, and then go back. You can go back on the grant after. It does allow for assists for the crashes. It covers court time. So any traffic ticket that's written on that grant, when that officer goes to court, they just have to document this. You have to look and say, yeah, we were on that day, and there's the 4 traffic tickets that we're going to court for, and they'll reimburse the town for the court time, so it won't even cost you for that. So any criminal court for like a DUI arrest, any processing time, anything motor vehicle related gets covered under that. it's for Fairhaven, it's been a huge benefit. It allows us to put people out, you know, like I get stuck in the office, so I'm doing complaints and dealing with stuff, but I can bring Mark in and say, Mark, can you cover today, go out and do traffic? So it gives you in my department, allows me to put a second guy out just to allow that presence and be people to be seen. Pulteney Constabulary has it, and I think Royalton, so this would be the third one in the state that would have it if you guys authorized it. It's pretty simple to do. It's once a month, about the 15th of the, so right now we're getting ready to put in April's.
Yeah. And I know that Julie and Tom have already spoke a little bit about it, and Julie felt that it would not be any problem for her to handle that.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
So.
And then you just have to have a supervisor sign it. So like in Fairhaven, if I work it, I have to have the town manager sign it. So it would be the same way here. So whoever you designate to be the supervisor, Tom's the first constable, so if Mark worked it, Tom could sign off on it that month, as long as he didn't work that same grant for the month. It is, like I said, it is beneficial, and I think when I came here as constable 20 years ago, I tried to get it down here, but at the time they weren't going to the constabulatories, and like I said, it was nice to be able to possibly get that. I think it would enhance public safety in town. And it's a good trial period. If it doesn't work out, we don't have to keep the grant. We don't have to work the grant.
Right. And it doesn't cost us anything. It only gives us money back. So.
Yeah, it's 100% reimbursable to put somebody out to do that.
Anybody have any questions for Bill?
I do, I got two. There was a dollar amount on that grant. Is that for the whole program for multiple towns, or is that what this town's capable of doing?
That's a really good question, and I can't really answer it because I've seen what you're looking at.
Yep.
I know for 20 years we've gotten the grant, we've never run out.
Okay.
So I don't know, it used to be a big pool of say 250,000 divided up. Right now, not a lot of agencies are doing it. Everybody, it's hard to get, I don't want to knock younger cops, but it's hard to get, they don't want to spend a lot of time, they don't want to do traffic. They don't want to go out and do that. It's so the participation has waned off on it. So that would be a question I would have to follow up, and I should be able to answer it, I just can't. Cause
I was just curious, but I think you answered my concern is the running out of it. How do you monitor it to make sure that the dollar amount? I mean, it was a pretty large amount, which for me doesn't think that our town would spend all that. So I'm thinking it was a group. That's why I asked.
I mean, in Fairhaven, we average between $1,000 and $1,800 a month.
Yeah,
so down here is probably not going to be that much.
Yeah. And then
but if you could get somebody to go out and just do 4 hours a week just on that, then you're not. He could come out and do the other, spend some time on the back roads or getting out in the neighborhoods, or doing a little more community policing work, and then use the other money for traffic.
And then the other question is they had the dates of like holidays and stuff like that. Do you have to benchmark and hit every one of those that are in that program, or?
There's the other piece that I forgot, and so if you participate in some of those details, like, and I know the last one, I just couldn't get anybody to do it, and I can just use me for an example. They understand at times you're just not going to be able to do it, but if you have a click it or ticket detail in May, if we went out and did 4 hours or 8 hours of that time within that period, they would be satisfied, being you basically have a 1 and 2.5 agency. You're not Rutland City where you have a lot of people. So what they look for is try to get the agency to participate in each of the details as much as possible.
Okay.
I've never been held feet to the fire where you have to do everything, because life happens. On the flip side, what I forgot was, like, so this year, because we in Fairhaven have participated in all those details, they're allowing us $5,000 in equipment money. So in the last 3 years, I've bought identical speed signs that you guys have here in town. They're about $3,800, and then bought some flashlights. Or you can buy brand new radar. I know that the town just bought brand new radars. So you look at what you paid for that. Next year, you could buy a brand new one on the grant money.
Okay.
That's the best advantage is the equipment and the education. I love the educational part. I'm a car seat tech, so we do a lot of car seat checks, right? Where people just come in and we show you how to hook up your car seat. We have I don't know if we still have access to the rollover.
We do.
Machine. That's a really good seatbelt thing. For like you have your event on Saturday, bring people in for maybe work it out with. Kevin Gino's been a friend of ours for many years. He's excited that we're down here, and it's a great program. That's what I do for Bill over there. Is when I do work, it's the highway safety program. It's good for me and it's good for him. It really doesn't cost him a dime, and it gets me out there. It gets presence, and I think that's what we're looking for is a presence, right? And not it's a great program. I'm glad that I thank the chief for coming tonight. He knows it very well. He runs it very well, and it gives me a job.
And the one thing that I always push is like, I try to tell the guys that work for me in Fairhaven, is like, you still have to remember you're in a small town. So just because you're out, not everybody gets a ticket. You can still educate through warnings, through verbal, through documentation. I know we've started the race data collection, so we still have to document that if I stop somebody. There's egregious, if you stop somebody a lower amount. So the grant doesn't take away our discretion.
Yep.
I guess, because my thought was
There's no quota.
if you write everybody in town a ticket, you're not gonna have that grant long, right? Somebody's gonna be upset, and then this
It's
room
an
will be
educational
full
grant, and that's
of
what
people
we have to
complaining that your guys are out
Yeah.
a little crazy. So that's that fine line of recognizing being a supervisor and then being responsive to your community, I guess. And I mean, doing 8 to 18 years here, so I understand this community also. So we would like the grant if you guys were interested in doing it, at least, to try it, see what you think. We would work with Julie on getting the exact pay figures.
Yep.
And again, I've done it, so I can work with Julie and I can teach Tom how to get it up and running. And they do the groundwork for me, so they already know how to use the program. They do everything. I just have to teach them the supervisor sheet.
That was my
What do you think?
questions.
Yeah, the only question I had was the administrative piece, and you said that Tom had talked with Julie, so.
Yeah.
I didn't know how that was gonna,
She had said that she thought that she was last meeting, she said that she was favorable to it.
yeah,
It looked good to her.
It's an Excel program, and so it has a supervisor sheet, so officer comes in, Mark works day one, he puts the date, fills the sheet out, it tells you if there's an error. If your hours don't match up, it says error, so it won't allow you. At the end of the month, I take the sheet, so if there's 4 sheets, at the end of the month, I print a supervisor sheet, I keep a copy of all of them, and then I go to our accountant, which here would be Julie, and say, can you verify that the number you paid is identical to the number that comes out? So she would provide us a payroll verification sheet that goes with it every month for them to look at. So they get what your pay rates are, what your payroll verification, so it's really the numbers we have versus the Julie numbers match. As long as they match and the pay, we send it over there, they're good. And they pay
I think
out,
it's a lot like our other,
they pay out monthly.
like it's administratively, it's a lot like a lot of the other highway grants. So sounds like you have a really good handle on keeping track of it on your end, which ultimately should hopefully make Julie's job a lot more streamlined as
The
well.
first couple of months, and I think it really would come down to like just a phone call. Can you run April's
Yeah,
highway safety grant?
yeah.
So if she just says, yep, here it is, and they verify and we're good to go, they get sent in, and then the sheriff's reimburse.
Since it, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, since the complaints that I've heard from folks in town is not too many people are getting tickets, but too many people are speeding through Pawlet and
Right.
West Pawlet, I think that folks would like to see a little more traffic enforcement out there, so.
We'd like to be able to do more.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and not at the cost of the town either. We have a limited budget. And I think this allows us to do a little bit more, not on your dollar, you know what I mean? But still represent the town.
Yeah.
For a focused, dedicated effort on what you're doing.
Yeah, the safety part of it's big. So since it goes October to September, are we eligible to jump in
I
the
believe
street?
so, because Kevin sent it last month. He sent it to me and said, do you think that Paul would be interested? And I said, I'll get it to Tom. And then Tom had brought it to you. So I think worst case, it would be September 30th would be the cutoff and start October 1st. But I believe it would be pretty much effective May.
Yep.
Whatever bugs there is between the town and the sheriff's department. But and to back it up, so the grant is not the sheriff's. They get the pool from the federal government, and the sheriffs manage it. So the sheriffs reimburse you. So it's not a sheriff's grant; it's a federal government grant managed by the sheriffs. And then Kevin Gino, there's 2 in the state, run both halves of the state. So that's all Kevin's job is managing that grant. So if there's a problem, you can call them. There's a couple liaisons that work for Governor's Highway Safety Program that will reach out. I know both of them. And if there's a problem, they'll say, hey, there's a problem here. Or you can reach out to them and say, can you help me with this paperwork? Because the numbers aren't jiving. So, and Kevin is really good because he's looking at your sheets. So he'll call and say, hey, I think you're off by an hour. And I found it here. So it's a really good checks and balances between whoever's managing the program, between the town accountant and the lieutenant.
Right.
Since this is managed through the sheriff's department, then are the infractions handled through the court, or are they handled like the sheriff's handle it?
The sheriffs don't have any involvement in it other than monitoring that we're doing what and paying us. So any infraction would go, just like when we write a normal ticket now, goes through Vermont Traffic Court. And then any of those funds obviously would funnel back to the town in revenue, but, I mean, we're not out there for revenue, but that is the benefit side of being out there. The town would get some offset back into the budget at the end of the year.
The court aspect is really huge. And on our perspective, like when we go to traffic court, it's a couple hours at a pop, right? And it adds up over time. And with this highway safety grant, a lot of our tickets come during those periods, and that time is covered 100%. A DUI, you're looking at 3-4 hours of processing, so it's covered there too, you know. And working with other departments, interdepartmental stuff is huge too. Good relationships, you know. They start to trust us, start to, you know, have us help them. So yeah, I think it's. I've been a part of it since I've started for 5 years, and it's a great program from my end of it on the lowest end. And having Chief be as managerial as he is, he really runs a good show and keeps the checks and balances going.
I haven't seen a downside of it in the 20 years. It's been, again, a benefit. And they used to be where you could outfit your whole car with it, but they've changed that. I mean, at one point, every car that had a Fairhaven was because we worked the highway safety grants, and they paid for it all. But they've changed it more towards the road signs, the radar devices, like LiDAR devices. They will pay. If the town wants a LiDAR device, the small ones, they will buy those. You know, as long as you're within that dollar amount.
Okay. What does the board feel about this? Do we want to make a motion, or?
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and give that a try.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? Frank, you had your hand up for a minute?
Yeah, you
Oh.
said supervisor, so anyone at the select board can be appointed by the
Right.
select board to be supervisor?
Yeah, sign off on.
Yeah, in theory, we kind of go either if you have a designated board member that's a liaison to the constables, or how our chain in Fairhaven is me as the chief, and I sign off unless I work it, then I go to the town manager. But if the town manager's not available, I go to the chair of the select board. So that might be Mike here, that you reach out, hey, we work
That's-
these hours and sign
We can
off.
figure that out easy
Yeah.
enough. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much for that presentation, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you guys.
While we're right here with Bill here, Tom sent out a whole bunch of procedures and stuff. And they came out yesterday, and I haven't had a chance to review them, and they look pretty much like standard procedures, but I'd like to take one more session and be able to review them a little bit more. I don't know what anybody
I
else.
can give you a background quickly. The background on the policies is, as we've progressed modernization of law
Yeah.
enforcement, they are starting to request, so if you have a body camera,
Yeah.
there's a statewide body cam policy that you have to operate under. A use of force policy, if you carry a taser, there has to be all these state policies. Domestic violence response, fair and impartial policing. So those are all from the academy,
Yeah.
state mandated. And if the town doesn't have those, the officers here can't attend classes at the academy.
Yeah. They seem very, very much like the structure of it. They're all VLCT approved
They are,
and stuff like
yes.
that. I just feel that I'd like to review them more. I didn't, yesterday
I'm
wasn't
here,
quite
so
enough time.
I wanted to give you some background if you had
Right.
questions.
No, I do appreciate that very
Okay.
much, and so that's,
And we tried to model the policies basically, because if VLTC is your insurance agency, we
Right.
try to model the policies they have. And the best part about that is every time it's updated, Trevor Whipple sends out the email that says, hey, this car driving
Yeah.
policy's been updated to meet this. So we go in and say, yeah, modify it, and then update the policy. So that it'll bring the town modernization. I mean, the
Yeah.
time I was here, we kind of just had them, but not really
right.
adopted where we're at now. So we're trying to move it a little more credentials, I guess.
Could you put that on the agenda for, thank you.
I do have some more
Yes.
questions on that. I did reach out to Tom, which he answered. Thanks, Tom. That Vermont leagues and cities and towns gave those policies. What confused me is, as I was reading through some of those policies, which is a lot of pages for 28 different policies, is one had one logo, one had another logo for the Vermont leagues and cities and town, and then some of them had both logos.
So
does that make any difference on?
I think with the matter that to clean them up, what needs VLCT puts out a model policy And what they do, if we adopt those, is they have you put the town of Pawlet logo or a patch, or you put something on the town of Pawlet.
Okay.
So I just don't think Tom got that far. He wanted to get them to you sooner than later. After putting the race data and stuff in for the academy said, hey, do you have these policies? Yes, we'll have them. So I think that was the rush to get them to you. And I think it's just a matter of cleaning up. The policies won't change from what you look at. I think the letterhead will change, or how so they would all be uniform.
Okay, so there's no distinguishing
No.
that? Okay, thank you.
I also have a question. Looking through those policies, I mean, I can see that they're standardized. Some of them don't really apply, like carrying guns. Our constables don't carry guns. So like there's one about like carrying rifles. And I'm like, we wouldn't carry rifles. So, but I guess we just need these policies because they're standardized policies.
I mean, there's a rifle in the car.
Yeah, we're certified, so.
There is a patrol rifle in the car. It's nothing we would get out of the car with and stop a car and walk up to the car. But if you go to an active shooter situation wherever, or you go to something where you might need it. I remember one night going to the barn over here. It was volatile. I was with the troopers. I had my long gun out. So there is a policy on that. If the officer's not certified in it, the policy doesn't matter because they can't carry it anyways. But it's how you operate with that device.
I guess I don't know how I got it in my head that our constables did traffic stops and didn't carry guns. Because I thought it was just, yeah.
No, we're all fully
peaceful
certified law
place.
enforcement, so that's the
You
beauty
get
of
those
this,
here.
right? All three of us are fully certified officers. Fully
Yeah.
certified.
So I have stopped cars without it. I've been driving and somebody.
Deb has her hand raised.
Deb?
Yeah, I just as a PS to what Bill is saying and Mark and Tom has in the past, Dave, as first constable, he would bring in some of these policies off and on, and I would put them in a folder. The second thing is that once you guys do have a chance to go through this, like Bill says, these are just standard policies for the law enforcement throughout the state. Tom did give me a set, or I copied a whole set, so it will be in my office in a binder for reference in the future. I just wanted to say that this is something that Dave has done also. Not that many pages in the past, but he has brought in policies as they have been implemented in the state. Thank you.
So where some of the policy changes is like the ones that we're asking are standard policies, but like my department has a policy on May 1st, you'll wear a short sleeve shirt. And that's where they're not VLCT, it's just kind of modeled to the state police and what your uniform is going to look like and that kind of stuff. So that's where we might move away from. I don't think we need any of those here, but that's where, as policy driven as you could get, right down to, you're not going to have chewing tobacco in the police car. I mean, that's kind of policies that other towns operate with.
Okay.
The ones we are looking for is just your standard, the ones where we're protected, like a use of force situation, that yes, this is the policy and this is what we operated under.
Okay, that sounds great, and we'll review them, and then we can bring this up again in 2 weeks and go from there. Anybody else have any questions for Bill while he's here tonight? Or Mark?
Thanks for answering what I asked.
Thanks for joining us tonight, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, what else we got?
Okay, so under new business, there was that nuisance lighting
Right,
message. Did everybody get a chance to read that?
I did read that,
Okay.
and
So the gist of that for everybody, there was an email just sent to the Selectboard inquiring if they would consider the idea of putting a nuisance lighting policy.
Ordinance.
Thank you. Ordinance into effect. So I let the folks know that wrote you the letter that I would add it to the agenda and give you the chance to talk about it tonight.
anybody have any comments on that?
I didn't have a chance to see that.
I-
Definitely consider it. I
It,
can see how it could cause problems between neighbors and whatnot, so it's just kind of a format to.
I think depending on the zone,
I-
Right, and
Would you
try to
like me
work
to read the
together, but
letter?
I think it's more working in a positive sense than negative, and it's not, there's no stipulations, it just wants us to consider it, and I think it would be a good thing to consider.
would you like to hear what the request was for
Please.
everybody to be able to hear it. So we are writing as residents of Pawlet to respectfully request that the town consider adopting a nuisance light ordinance similar in scope to the ones enacted by several other towns throughout the state of Vermont. In recent years, we've become increasingly aware of how unshielded or excessive outdoor lighting can disrupt the character and ecology of rural communities like ours. Beyond being a source of frustration for neighbors, artificial light at night has well-documented impacts on wildlife, pollinators, and nocturnal ecosystems, as well as our ability to enjoy the natural beauty of the night sky. In a town like Pawlet, where we value quiet, open landscapes and healthy biodiversity, it seems especially important to encourage responsible lighting practices. For example, the town of Winhall, Vermont's ordinance offers a balanced approach, discouraging glare and overlighting while still allowing for safety and personal choice. We hope the Selectboard or Planning Commission will consider reviewing either the town of Winhall's nuisance light ordinance or the other towns in Vermont's nuisance light ordinances and opening a discussion about creating something similar for our town. We would be happy to support this process by assisting with research, outreach, or drafting if helpful. Thank you for your time and commitment to protecting the quality of life here in Pawlet for residents and for the natural world we share. So that was the request. Just to bring everybody up to speed on what was discussed. So, seems like perhaps the next best step, that's just my suggestion, would be if you'd like, I could gather some of those other examples of ordinances that other towns have and share those with you if you'd like to hear more about it, or what do you think?
Well, I would like to say that I understand that everybody needs to be respectful of each other, but I'm a little bit hesitant about ordinances because they can be used positively or negatively very easily, and the control factor, and then who polices them, and who says the light is right and wrong, and it can be a very complicated thing. I don't know if you run into this up there or not, but sometimes something that sounds very like a great idea on the upfront can be twisted around and become a very dangerous thing.
And the one question I would have, if you do talk to Winhall, is ask them about the enforcement piece. Because my concern would be like,
Who
the
enforces
60
it?
watt tube, right?
Yeah, how do you measure it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
a noise ordinance. I know we've tried, other towns have tried it, and then it came down to who's got the decimal meter
Right.
and that kind
Right.
of stuff.
How do you fairly enforce something like that?
I know when I was living in West Paul, we got sued by the neighbor over a 40-watt light bulb. My roommate was a dispatcher in state police, and we got sued because he left it on until he got home, and the neighbor took us to court. And actually got thrown out, but it was just my experience with that at the time. But that would be just my one concern, was ask about the enforcement piece and how do they back that up? Because it probably would fall to us to write that, and then how do we go to court?
Prove our case.
Yes, that would be my only concern.
Beyond reasonable doubt. I think Tom has a lot better things to do.
I think there's some other possible ways of sorting such issues out without going into an ordinance.
I would agree
That's
with
my
that.
opinion, so we'll gather a little bit more information so we can make an informed decision. I feel would be the correct way to go about it, and revisit the subject. Anybody have any other opinions on
That
that?
seems fine to
I
me.
think that's great that she's gonna reach out and give us some examples, and we got a little bit of a draft to start with and see how it's impacting other towns.
Very good.
Thank you. Frank?
So there's a question of if there's a difference of opinion on lighting between one neighbor and another, for example, is there a mediation provision where you could work it out?
Right, there's a lot of open areas still.
Right, thank you.
There is a program that the Rutland Regional Committee worked on, at Night Sky or something like that, and it talked about all the lighting in municipals back when I was on the planning commission, and it is quite a big, lengthy options and choices, so that could be a lot of.
What else do we have?
Any other new business for anybody has? Okay. Any public comment this evening? Okay.
I have something.
Oh, Tom's here.
Tom,
I just want to make sure Mike signed that grant form.
Oh, where was that? Tom?
it was,
Was that in your email?
Last week, or 2 weeks ago.
yeah, if it was in your email, I can sign it and send it to you electronically tomorrow, because I don't know that the rest of,
It's not in.
we're the hard copy.
I got a copy of it.
Oh, Julie,
So I think that Julie might have that, but if we will.
do you want me to sign it and send it to Julie, and then you can pick it up, Tom? Would that work for you, or?
That's perfect, Mike. Thank you.
Okay, I'll send that, I'll electronically send it to Julie tomorrow.
Thank you.
Certainly, thank you for doing that legwork for us.
Certainly.
Any other, Frank?
Devin was just here, and you may have all gotten an email in regards to open meeting law training that Rutland Regional Planning Commission's putting on next week on Wednesday at about 6 o'clock.
May 7th, I signed up for it.
Send myself a note.
Nice job.
It was addressed to mention select boards and planning commissions.
Okay.
All right.
I think that's,
Anybody else? You guys?
go ahead.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.